TG Geeks, episode 133, September 4th, 2017. Needles, whales, and fists. What more could you ask for? Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from, we've been gone for 3 weeks, and I don't remember how any of this works, Arizona.
Yeah, we've been on vacation for...
It was just shy of 3 weeks.
Just shy of 3 weeks, yeah. We did lots of stuff, and that's what we're going to talk about in our first segment, so we're just going to go right into it as we speak. That's normally the music we use for our op-ed pieces, but...
I guess.
Well, we haven't used it in a long time.
No, it was nice to hear it.
But anyway, so we took an extended vacation.
Boy, that's an understatement.
Yeah, originally it was supposed to be just a cruise to Alaska.
Yeah, I decided to bookend it with Seattle, though, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun because we have a lot of friends in Seattle, and it was a lot of fun just being in Seattle, and where we stayed was perfect. We didn't have to drive in downtown Seattle. Crazy traffic. Only once.
Just once.
And so that was kind of nice. We were able to ride the light rail because that was right outside our door of our hotel.
It could not have been more convenient. And it was always
it's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap. And it was within blocks of wherever we were heading.
Yeah. So we made it to Seattle. And the first thing we did on the first evening, because we got there late afternoon, we got checked in and settled in the hotel and et cetera, and then we went to this place that a friend of ours, or of yours and ours, had turned us on to, many years ago.
When we were there in 2004.
Whenever it was. Yeah, it was 13 Coins. It's really a kitschy restaurant. It's been there forever. It's a Seattle institution. You walk in and the whole interior is like stepping back into the 60s.
You almost feel like Sean Connery's James Bond is going to walk in any moment.
Yep. So
it's really awesome. And the food is amazing.
The food is good, yeah. So then the next day we did the underground tour.
We did this underground tour. Apparently, Seattle is built on old Seattle.
Yeah.
At least parts of it.
Yeah, and I learned something, on this tour. I had always thought that Seattle was the fire broke out because of an earthquake similar to San Francisco, and then it was buried and they built on top of it. But it was just, it was
You had Beth
other
Cato's
things.
book in your head.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, while we were in Seattle, we did not see any Fantastics, and Rainier did not explode. So
no, Rainier. I was hoping to see some transients and say no vampires.
No vampires.
Oh,
yeah.
darn.
We're kind of mixing the genres, the streams there.
Yeah, a bit.
So anyway, but the underground tour, you really enjoyed that.
That was. I got some great photos. You can find those on Facebook. I plan to put those eventually on Flickr when I have a chance. And I'll write up an article on it. But yeah, the underground tour was terribly interesting, but for the both of us, not what we expected.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So
I think I was kind of expecting things to look a little bit more polished, I guess. It was all like in ruins.
Yeah, it truly was. It's still underground.
It's still very much underground, although apparently they use part of it for special events.
Yeah, so it was fascinating.
It was fun. I would like to do some of the more themed visit, like the mystery or the ghost visit or something like that. That could be
right. So then the next day, that was kind of took up one day, and we made it back. I mean, we took things kind of leisurely, riding the train in and then doing the thing.
Well, that was the whole point of a vacation, not going rush.
Yeah, and we had some dinner plans. Was it that night or it may have have been that night.
I think that might have been the night we saw Randy.
Yeah, a school friend of yours, and who works at worked.
He's retiring.
He's
from
retired.
Boeing.
He had retired he was retiring within a couple of days of when we saw him.
Yeah. He was retiring from Boeing. Lives in Renton, just outside of Seattle.
So we got to see the Renton facility, and that was really kind of neat.
That was far out.
It was fascinating. I mean,
the line of planes that they're being assembled in their hangar was just phenomenal.
Yeah, they had 5 737s lined up in one hangar.
Yeah.
And they push one out every day.
It was so assembly line.
It was
the efficiency
fabulous.
is amazing.
Yeah, he said that they turn out, there's 2 different lines there, and they turn out 47 737s every single month.
That's shocking.
Unbelievable. So, like I said, they push one out every day. So they're lined up there, and all the parts are there, and they push one out the door every day to go do the testing and whatnot.
And you don't hear a plethora of stories about 737s breaking down like that. So you can only assume that the Boeing, even though they're cranking out 47 a month, that they're doing it right.
Yep. So then the next day we met some friends and went and had brunch at the Space Needle and wandered around there for a bit, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh, the Space Needle's amazing.
Yeah, it's really
it's like its own. The restaurant up there, it's like the Compass Room here in Phoenix, where it does a 360. I don't know exactly what. I don't think it's a full hour. I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long.
But it does eventually give you a full panoramic view of the entire downtown Seattle, Puget Sound, all of it. I mean, it was just gorgeous, and the weather was fantastic while we were there too.
It was really nice. Yeah, the Rainier really didn't come out during our visit, except for the very last day that we were there.
Very last day, Rainier finally decided to make an appearance,
and then obviously,
on the plane,
when we flew over it. So it was kind of nice.
You can't hide from us now.
Yep. So that was really interesting. And then after we had brunch, we went down to the Museum of Pop Culture, which was...
And that's not what it originally was when we were there many years ago.
Yeah, it was several different museums.
It was like Museum of Science Fiction, Museum of Music, but now it's Museum of Pop Culture.
Yeah, and so it's everything. You buy one admission to all of it. There was a special admission piece though to
it was a Jim
Henson display, and that was fascinating.
Well, that was wonderful.
Taking how he grew up and got into the puppeteering and then the Muppets and the whole 9 yards, and
the whole history of it.
I didn't realize that the Muppets have been around since the late 50s.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was shocked to find out that Kermit actually Kermit made his debut on the Steve Allen Show.
Yeah. It was just fascinating. It was fascinating.
It was fantastic. And you saw all the puppets. The Count was there. Ernie and Bert were there. Kermit was there. I mean, it's everything that he did. And not just the Sesame Street characters, but also things that he did with like Labyrinth and Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I would recommend checking that out. Quit your whining. Yeah. And, of course, it had the Star Trek wing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the Star Trek wing was. We spent more time there because obviously that was your big thing.
Oh, and we saved that for last.
Yeah, but we did actually. They had a full-size Gort standing at the entrance of the sci-fi part, and it was fantastic. Yeah, it was great. He even had a electrical plug next to him to plug him in. It's in the photo.
I didn't even notice.
Yes.
To plug him in?
Yeah, in case he needed extra power. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway. But the whole museum was just fantastic.
Yeah.
It was just
very
incredible.
enjoyable.
and the music part, oh my gosh.
The David Bowie section.
Yeah, they had a
it almost made me cry.
It did make me cry. I mean, I was just walking through there, and it was the art of, I can't remember who it was.
Well, it was somebody that he worked with. It was his guitarist in the Planet of Mars band.
Yeah.
And he took a bunch of photos of David during that entire time with of the Ziggy Stardust era, and just made those all available. Yeah. And there was even some fantastic video, excuse me, of them redoing like Space Oddity.
Yep.
Oh, I remember you and we found a little seat, and there was a bunch of us. We were just sitting there, just soaking it all up. It was amazing.
It was great. So the Museum of Pop History or Pop Culture was really fantastic. They had a guitar section.
Yeah.
Of all
the guitars.
Oh my gosh, guitars owned by many famous people, and it was amazing to see some of those older guitars and the prototypes of certain guitars that have become big names today.
Mm-hmm.
It was really what's the word I was looking for? I don't know. It started to come out, and then it was
fantastic.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So
yeah, I absolutely loved it. And so I would say to anybody, if you are going to be in the downtown Seattle area and you're really into all various forms of pop culture, you've got to go to this museum.
Absolutely.
You will not regret it.
It is really fantastic. So then let's see. The next day, I think the next day was when we did the Museum of Flight.
That was
great.
Fantastic.
And we went with a friend of ours who has a month or
it's like an
annual pass, and she had several meetings, so we didn't really know exactly when we were going to go. So we just, whenever she was done, she said, "I'm ready," and she picked us up, or she came to the hotel, and then we went over to the Museum of Flight and saw that, and there were some fascinating.
The aircraft there was all the different types of aircraft. It was just incredible to see.
Yeah, and they had some NASA pieces, and it was just we didn't get enough time to spend
you
there.
need a full day, if not more,
Absolutely,
in order to really see all the different exhibits that are there and fully appreciate them. They got a number of films there. I mean, we caught one movie about space travel, which was kind of like more of a PSA, but the film we saw on military aircraft.
Yeah, that was fascinating. Wow is right. It was with those two films we had to. It took up so much time.
That was about an hour between the two, maybe a little under.
A little bit more because the time in between and.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just talking. I mean, the two movies, in of themselves. But you're right. There was the wait time. So yeah, we were talking maybe an hour and a half total.
Yeah, so it took up a bunch of time. So we had
to
pick and choose what we saw after that, and we chose to go out see the NASA piece, and then.
Oh, we went across the street to the hangar where all the big static displays were.
Yeah,
which was slightly disappointing.
Well, some of them were. Some of them were. They had taken most of the insides out of some of the static displays, like the 747.
Well, the 747 though, that was a prototype.
True.
So
and also the 787 that they had over there was not the finished model. It was a prototype model as well.
So that's why it looks so very incomplete. I mean, that's why it looks like it got stripped. But there were others, like the Air Force One.
The old Air Force One.
The old Air Force One from the Nixon era up to, Carter used it, I belive they said as well. Yeah. That was really cool.
It was fascinating, yeah. So that was a I don't think it was a 747.
I don't think so.
I think it was like a 727 or something like that.
But it was still so cool to go through that.
Yeah, it was fascinating. But that was really kind of neat.
I enjoyed that museum, and I would love to go back and dedicate a day for that.
Yeah. So then after we did the Museum of Flight, we had to pick somebody up at the airport.
We had to pick up Aaron's husband.
Yep. And then we went downtown, and we had some dinner, and we
had flaming cheese.
Flaming cheese, yep. And we did the Great Wheel.
That's it's right at the waterfront.
Seattle Wheel, or the big Ferris wheel.
It's a Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Which I did okay with.
Your sister was like, "Who is this person?"
Yeah. And we were going to do Wings Over Washington, but
somebody decided to leave some protein there, if you know what I mean.
So we didn't do that, but the next day we went back downtown and we did the Pike Place Market and all kinds of. That's such a fascinating place.
It's mad. It's like their version of Fisherman's Wharf.
Yep.
Except not quite as touristy, I think.
Yeah, and we got a video of the fish throwing.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, I'm a little disappointed with the fish throwing in that it's not being done for practical reasons. It's all done for show now.
Well, but they would only do it if you purchased something. That was why.
Is that how it worked?
Yeah, that's why we didn't get to really see a whole display of it, and everybody was standing there. But anyway.
Well, we did see the fish being thrown. I mean, it's become such a shtick now.
Yeah. It was kind of cool.
It was far out. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and then we wandered
around. The entire
around.
market is huge.
Oh my gosh, it's just enormous.
It's
and all
packed
kinds
with people.
of
Fabulous produce.
This and that and the other, and it was just amazing.
It really is. The produce they have there is just amazing.
Yeah. So after that, we went over and we did the
Finally got to do Wings Over Washington, which was quite nice. I liked it a lot.
So it was a lot of fun, and that was our Friday or Saturday. That was Saturday.
Was that Saturday?
That was Saturday. Yeah.
Yes, because the next day we're boring. Whoop. Sorry,
boarding.
My Freudian slip just showed.
Yeah.
We were boarding the ship.
Yes, we got on the ship. We had friends that came in and stayed, and then we went down to the port, and we got on the ship, and we're going to just not say anything more about the ship. We'll just say about where we went.
Yes. First stop was... I was surprised at the destinations and the order that they have.
Yeah, it was odd because previously...
I would have thought we would have gone to the most northern spot and then worked down, but apparently we didn't.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we did Disney several years ago, we did Skagway first.
Yeah.
And then went down to Juneau.
Yeah,
but this time it was
flipped
flipped around.
Yeah, they're all kind of weird.
A little odd.
Yeah.
But we did Juneau, which included a trip to the Mendenhall Glacier, some
which
whale
has
watching.
receded significantly in the last 3 years.
The amount of recession on that is just shocking. It almost made me sad.
Yep.
And it did whale watching after that, and then the next day we were in Skagway.
We did the train.
All the way up and back.
White Pass and Yukon train. And actually this time we did, instead of stopping and switching the engines around, we actually were the first up. We were the loop train, which we got an extra 6 or 7 miles out of the trip. Yeah. And we went all the way around at a slow pace, and got to, while the other trains were making their switches of the engine, putting it back in front, and etc. So then we got to go all the way back down, and it was a fascinating trip.
It really was.
I spent most of my time on the way up.
Yeah.
We were in the front car, so I was out in front of the front car with the engine directly in front of me. So I was doing some photos and videos and.
Yeah, you got some really great freezing.
My hand is still cold.
Yeah, but you got some phenomenal content.
Yeah, it's really
beautiful
great
stuff there. So and then the day after that, was that Ketchikan or the Mendenhall or Glacier Bay?
We did Glacier Bay next. Was it?
I can't recall now.
Yeah,
I think it was Glacier Bay.
We did Glacier Bay. That was incredible,
was beautiful and surprising.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, we saw. I remember pointing out this big landmass there and finding out, oh no, that's a glacier that's completely filled with dirt now.
Yeah, I thought it was just.
That was just a
rock
landmass.
Mountain carved out and left after the glacier.
Right, and we heard calving taking place, which was amazing. And you saw a little bit, and that was the weirdest part. You just see this little bit of ice falling off the glacier, and the noise, just a little tiny bit of ice, and the noise that it would make.
Yeah, it was
amazing.
Surprising. Yeah, it was not like when we did Tracy Arm,
right?
The great glacier there, because there was lots of calving in that.
And it's a much smaller channel.
Yeah, exactly. But this was the Marjorie Glacier, and then there was like four glaciers in there. Yeah. Something like that. It was amazing.
And there was a park ranger for that area, and she said, oh yeah, that glacier, it's still being pushed into the ocean because there's new ice that is forming at the source of it, which was way beyond our view.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Just fascinating. And of course then we had to do Ketchikan, which it was raining like crazy.
Well, we should point out that, we went into a store in the touristy downtown area of Ketchikan, and the shop owner said that this was the wettest summer that they've had in 40 years.
Yep.
Great!
So it was fun being wet.
No, it wasn't. I mean, and we were bundled, and it didn't matter because it's that as my friend Paul, when we saw him at the end of our vacation, he said it's that fine misty rain that just gets through everything.
Yeah, but we did find our fish and chips place.
We found the fish and chips place.
We went the wrong way after we got off the ship because we were in a different place.
Right. Well, the ship docked in a completely different area than what we were used to, so we had to walk the extra distance to get over there.
So we had halibut, cod, and salmon fish and chips. Which was, oh my gosh,
delish!
Just wonderful.
Absolutely. The halibut was so tasty. And yum.
We had to have it just for the halibut.
Yeah, and we had a really, really uber light breakfast.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, we had a very short port of call, so we had to have an early lunch there.
Yep.
So that was a bit of a bummer there, but it was still a great little treat.
Yep. And then our last stop was in Victoria, BC.
Oh my word! We need to spend 2 days there.
Oh my gosh, we didn't get there till 6.
Actually, we need to spend a week there.
Yeah, and so we had a bus tour, and that was going to drop us off at Butcher Gardens, and it was. By the time we got there, it was
just after 8 o'clock.
Just beginning to be dusk. We took a photo of the sign, and by the time we made it, we went over to look at the underground garden just from the top and took a photo, made our way over to the Japanese garden, and it started to get dark right then. So we had
we still got some good photos.
45 minutes, and then.
But yeah, it just got to be too dark. You really couldn't do anything with it.
Fabulous.
It is
so my God.
Unbelievably gorgeous. Nothing could have prepared me for how beautiful it was.
Yeah, we have. That's another one of those 2 or 3 day affairs.
Easily.
That you have to go.
Especially if you like to take photographs.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Because every time you turn around, there's a new angle.
And the Japanese garden was just
so beautiful.
It truly was a religious experience.
It was. It was very spiritual.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah. So we got back on the ship, and the next day we disembarked in Seattle and got to see my friend Paul, and went back down to the market. I finally got to go to Beecher's and have some handmade cheese.
The cheese that we had. I had a Dungeness crab grilled cheese sandwich that bowled me over.
It was incredible, and they had macaroni and cheese with their cheese. Oh my gosh!
But you had one that had
chilies and
what kind of chilies was that? Do you remember?
They were Anaheims, but they were.
It was quite good.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. So after that, we made our way back home the next day. And
pretty much, yeah. I mean,
uneventful.
Yeah, very uneventful. Although on the plane, we finally did get that really great view of Rainier because we were flying right over her.
Yeah, it was really great. So that was our 2 weeks in Seattle and Alaska.
Yeah, it felt epic.
It was.
It was pretty epic, and wow.
I don't regret that we did it.
No, I have no regrets that we did it. Seattle itself is always enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much to do, so much to see. And as you pointed out, we have so many friends who live up there.
Oh, my gosh. We just couldn't see all of them.
No, we couldn't, and as much as we wanted to. And then, of course, really, I think for the cruise, the big highlight was Victoria.
Yeah,
for me.
It really was.
It was unbelievably beautiful. The weather was spectacular.
Oh, yeah. By the time we got to Victoria, the rest of Alaska was...
Well, let's talk about what we saw as we were sailing down to Victoria.
Oh, yeah. We
should backtrack and talk about Juneau.
When we went to Juneau and we saw the whales, we went on the whale watching. I got some good video of the whales doing their...
They're just going up and going down.
And then they're diving.
You see the fluke and all that. It was great.
But we saw no chin slapping
no
like we
breaching
did
at all.
the last time. But on the way sailing down to Victoria, it kind of cleared off a bit. We saw a bunch of whales chin slapping.
All coming up and smacking the water with their chins.
Yeah, so it was really great.
It was wonderful. I remember we were having breakfast.
Yep.
Inside, and we just happened to we had a window table, and all of a sudden people just start gathering like mad, and you look out, and there's all these, just every time you look, there's another whale coming up, and it would just, its head would come out of the water and then just smack its chin against the water.
Yeah, they'd just jump up out of the water.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was fantastic. So like, I felt kind of like that's what we missed out in Juneau.
And they were so far in the distance that it wasn't as impressive as what we saw
not
the previous time. The previous time, oh my gosh, they were within a mile of us.
Yeah.
And on the ship, they were several miles out.
But it was still pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, well, they were less than a quarter mile the last tour.
Yeah,
that we did.
well, because we were in that bay.
Right. So that was our vacation. So
It was a great time. I really did enjoy it.
yeah.
I did have a good time. It's nice to be back.
Oh yeah. Nice to be back.
Nice to be back in. We had hoped to hit dry weather.
Yeah.
It's not quite dry here yet. It's still humid and hotter than heck.
Yep. So that's it.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Miguel Rodriguez from the Horrible Imaginings Film Festival, and you are listening to Two Gay Geeks podcast.
And here's a few selected birthdays for September 4th through September 10th, 2017. September 4th, Dick York,
The original Darren,
the original Darren from Bewitched. Also, Jason David Frank.
who luckily survived Phoenix Comic-Con.
Exactly.
Sheesh.
And then Beyonce. Did you know she had a last name?
Does she?
Yes.
Oh,
she's
so it's not okay. So it's not like Cher
Yeah.
Or-
well, she's
or-
become.
or like Wong.
Yeah, she's just become Beyonce. But
Yeah.
she has a last name.
Well, I would hope so.
Did you Knowles it?
No, I didn't.
September 5th, George Lazenby, Bob Newhart, Michael Keaton, Freddie Mercury
Oh, of Queen.
of Queen, Daryl Zanuck, and
Good friend Tatiana.
Tatiana Patton. Happy birthday, Tatiana, and Greg Lowe, both of them in San Diego.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be seeing Greg next week
Hopefully.
when we're down in San Diego. He plans to be there.
Yeah. September 6th, Idris Elba, Roger Waters,
Of Pink Floyd.
and Joanne Worley.
Melons!
There you go. September 7th, Dario Argento. He was a protege of Italian horror.
Bava?
Mario Bava, yes. Also on September 7th, Buddy Holly and James Van Allen was born in 1914.
I'm guessing he's the one who discovered the Van Allen radiation belt.
Yes, he is. And Queen Elizabeth, boy, she's been around a long time.
1533?
1533, yes.
Wow, she's looking great.
Yep. Oh,
She's had work done.
yes, she has. Actually, I think that was Queen Elizabeth the
First?
Yes.
Oh, is that it?
That's what it is. September 8th, Martin Freeman, Peter Sellers, and Anton Dvorak, 1841, famous composer. September 9th, Otis Redding, sitting on the dock of the bay.
Oh gosh. But no one sings it like Bet.
Yes. Henry Thomas and Hugh Grant. September 10th, Jose Feliciano, who made several
Oh,
songs.
dear Lord. But there's one that always comes back
Yes.
every year.
Every year.
Feliz Navidad. Yeah.
Yes. And also on September 10th, the famous beverage Arnold Palmer. Oh, no, it was actually the golfer,
Golfer.
Arnold Palmer.
But he was named after a drink. How amazing is that?
that?
Wow.
Amazing. Also on September 10th, a friend of the show, Brad Boyer, and our
good
very
friend.
good friend, Gordon Street III. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Technirama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technirama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technirama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technirama Podcast. They're at DragonCon
They're
this
at
weekend.
DragonCon right now. In fact,
Yeah.
I saw a photo They're saying Sam Roberts.
Yeah. Sam.
Crazy Joe was there.
Yeah.
A bunch. Yeah,
And
bunch
Gary
of,
Lindros. And
That's right. Gary Lindros is there. But yeah,
oh my gosh, everybody.
in fact, from what everybody tells me, I think Chuck's going to be the exception. But everybody who goes there, they don't attend any of the panels. They just go there to socialize.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll get down to DragonCon
Someday.
Yeah. So now it is time for our feedback-a-palooza.
Yeah, lots of feedback. So let me quickly get started. Tracy Birdsall, she surfaced again to one more time say how awesome TG Geeks episode 126 was, where
Well,
we
how about
interviewed
that?
her. So
Yay.
she had to comment yet again, and she said, "Awesome, thank you. Check out this fun interview. Love talking to fellow sci-fi geeks." And again, check out that episode. That was a really fun interview.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Tons of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then moving forward to episode 128, we got some comments regarding that. First from your cousin Carol.
Yeah.
She says, "You and Ben," referring to you, Keith, "you and Ben are awesome. I'm proud of you." Well, thank you, Carol. And then we got a comment from Arkle. Apparently, there was a slight
A little typo.
and we called poor Brian Ankle. And his answer, his comment is ankle.
Yes.
He then added that small world. Jean of Krypton Radio is actually a friend of my mom's. She's currently a contributor to his Patreon.
How about that?
It's a small world
Yeah.
after all. And then moving forward to episode 129, where we got to interview good friend of the show and personally, Jonathan Latt. And he said,
Jonathan Latt. Who the hell is that?
I'm not even going to answer that.
I just had to because it matched.
Of course it did. Why else?
Yes, me being silly.
So, anyway, Jonathan left a comment saying, "I had a great time with Keith Lane and Ben Raginson." I can't even say my own name. How sad is that?
I know.
On their show this week. I love having a chance to catch up with these two guys and geek out. We talk about tons of stuff and generally geek out for about an hour. Follow the handy dandy link if you're curious, because he posted this on his Facebook page. He says, "So follow the handy dandy link if you're curious and like hearing me babble on like a madman." And I have to add something. He generally blogs on Facebook regularly, and lately normally it's kind of just really ranty, crazy stuff. Lately he's been blogging on about his sobriety, and I could not love this guy more.
Yeah.
Jonathan is just such an amazing guy, and I feel just utterly blessed that we could count him as a friend.
Absolutely.
I really am. I just love that guy to death. And then we did get another comment from Arkle from also episode 129. And he says, "I think it's worth noting that my display name on Twitter hasn't been the Nazi punching Scald for a few weeks now." I know. Yes, we know we neglected to change it on our notes. We're sorry about that. He says, "I changed it to the human Arkle to match
Human ankle.
The human ankle, yeah, as opposed to the not human ankle or the human knee.
Yeah.
I changed it to
Human elbow.
The human elbow. Yeah. Okay. See, this is now ruined. It's
ruined.
utterly ruined. Anyway, he says he changed it to match his Tumblr username, which was attached to his Personer Tumblr name. Also, the incorrect Voyager quotes thing being one of his side Tumblrs, along with, oh boy,
Shay Apocalypse.
Shay Apocalypse fan Tumblr. Hell's Eye ShayApocalypse.tumblr.com, which I run with my permission from Shay co-founder Lindsay Ellis. Wow, that's a mouthful. Is it just plain Arkle, as a Tumblr blog URL was already taken, whether it's for the Irish racing horse of the 1960s or for boxer model Rosanna Arkle. I have no idea.
Rosanna Arkle.
Rosanna Arkle, yeah. I have no idea. I never bothered to look it up, as my nickname has nothing to do with either of those. And after the butchering that we just did with it, neither does anything we have to say.
Yep, and he'll probably never talk to us again.
Never again. And then we got regarding episode 130, where we interviewed Hannibal Taboo. He says, "Had a great time as a guest on the Two Gay Geeks podcast talking irrational numbers and more. And that was another
that was
just
great.
awesome interview.
Yep.
I can't wait to talk to him again in the future. And then, we had a comment regarding the Robotech panel that we attended at Comic-Con in San Diego.
We had it in moderation.
We had it in moderation for quite a while because the content
was basically a rant.
Well, it had nothing to do with the content of the panel itself. So it was in moderation. But I will say this. It was a great panel.
Yes, the Robotech panel was really great. And it was something the fans that were in attendance,
everybody who was in attendance was
see.
very, very excited. And again, I keep thinking back to that 3D game board. It's like, oh my
gosh, yeah, it was great.
That I would own, and I'd probably suck at the game, but I don't care. It looks great. And then we had an article that we ran because of Comic-Con about Ready Player One. And we got a comment from Mr. Technirama himself, Chuck Tomasi, and he says, this is going to be huge. Highly anticipated. I predict big box office dollars for the first few weekends. Timing of the release is going to be everything. And he's right.
Exactly.
They'll probably, Warner's will probably move that release date around because they're going to want to make sure that it doesn't conflict with anything.
Time. Exactly.
They're going to want to make sure that has got at least a full week all to itself. And then we, of course, if you want to check out all the Comic-Con coverage that we did from San Diego, you can always go to our website, tggeeks.com, and all the links for everything that we've talked about in the feedback will be in the show notes, including this story. And we talked about day one at Comic-Con, and we got a comment from Mark Ross. And what is Mark doing? Is Curse of the Phantom Shadow.
Yes, we can't wait.
Can't wait. And he wrote, great job, guys. Keep the Comic-Con stories coming. Oh, God, we were staying up to like 2 a.m. on that stuff. And he says, hoping for a Blade Runner 2049 update. And then he adds, my most anticipated film next to Star Wars. I haven't been to Comic-Con in a few years. Hoping next year will be a return trip. I would really like to screen my film there. And tell, if you do screen Curse of the Phantom Shadow, we will be all over that.
We will be all over it.
Seriously, we will be all over that one.
Yeah.
And then he added, one thing I do not miss, the lines. Hall H will have a huge line. Do we want to recap that story?
No.
Okay.
Because it was a long line.
It was a very, very, very long line with Andy Serkis entertaining everybody.
Yep.
And then we did have a story about the second official trailer for Blade Runner 2049. And Mark had to chime in, of course, and he says, so looking forward to this film. And I'm getting more and more excited about it. In fact, there's actually a report estimating what the runtime. It's going to be over 2.5 hours long. This is going to be
a long film.
It's going to be a long, but it needs to be, I think.
It needs to be. You got to do it right.
Absolutely. And with Ridley Scott producing, I think it will be. And then we got, need to back up. Everybody knows that we're big supporters of the short film Morning After.
Yes.
That has been directed by Patricia Chica and written by Christian Hodko. And they were going to finally release the official teaser trailer. That was announced on August 3rd. The trailer was to be released on August 4th. And Patricia Chica chimed in and she says, hello, everyone. The trailer of Morning After will be released exclusively on TG Geeks /TG Squared Studios website tomorrow, meaning August 4th. We can't wait. And yes, she gave us first dibs on that trailer.
Yeah.
You can find it on...
We had an exclusive.
We got the exclusive on that.
Yep.
You can actually find it. We'll have the link for that in our show notes.
Yep.
And she then added, regarding our vacation, wishing a spectacular vacation to our lovely TG Geeks, Keith and Ben, co-executive producers. Can't wait to see you in LA or Phoenix. And we are planning to be there for the LA screening of this film.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
It'll be fun.
And then lastly, we had a review that was posted by one of our new contributors. Her name is Ro. She did a review for the movie Wind River, and the link for that will be in the show notes. But Ro had to comment on her own article, and she says, "I have a rule against missing a Jeremy Renner film."
Yeah, so that I'm glad to welcome Ro as a contributor.
Absolutely,
well as,
she's
Gina Koch.
she's given us already 2, if not 3 reviews now.
I thought it was 4.
Maybe 4.
Yeah. So she's going to be contributing movie reviews and possibly some book reviews and some other things.
She's based in San Diego.
Yep.
So she'll be able to catch a lot of movie reviews that are or movie screenings that are taking place down there that we cannot get to.
Yep.
So
We
it'll be
also
great.
have Andrea Richoff
Yep.
that's going to be doing some things for us on pop culture and movie reviews and maybe some book reviews. And then Gina Koch, whenever
When she
gets
finally finishes,
settles down.
when she finally settles, because it's already been announced she's moving to Atlantic City, not Atlantic City, Atlanta.
City.
Yeah.
Atlanta City.
Atlanta
City.
Atlanta City.
Atlanta City.
Atlanta City. Not to be confused with Alanis Morissette.
Yeah. Or that what's that road in at Diagonally.
Diagonally.
Atlanta
Yeah.
City.
Atlanta City. That's it. Yes. No, she's moving to Atlanta.
Yes.
Her husband has.
We can be derailed easily.
Yeah, it's so easy to do that yourself. Yeah, she has to relocate. Her husband's job is moving there.
So
Yeah,
once
so
she settled down,
when she
she'll
settled
be
down, she's going to
contributing
continue to
for
be.
us.
She's going to work for us. So yay,
Yay.
we're really excited
We
about
have a
that.
staff now. How
We
about
actually
that?
have a writing staff. It's wonderful.
It's amazing.
Yes, and that is our feedback.
And
That's all of our feedback.
Yeah, we thank you for everybody that has given us feedback. We certainly do want to hear from you, our wonderful listeners and readers of our website. So check us out and leave a comment on our Facebook page. You can do it on any of our articles that we post, on our episodes, on our YouTube episodes.
And you can always leave audio feedback through Facebook as
Yeah.
well.
And you can do leave us a voicemail, and we'll play that on the show. And don't be alarmed about the personal greeting has gone away on Skype.
Thank you,
because
Skype.
Yeah, our phone number is a Skype line, but that we'll play it on air. 469 TG Geeks. That is 469-844-3357.
You don't need to hear their identification. They're the Two Gay Geeks. They can go about their business. Move along.
I don't know why I like that.
It's a cool theme.
It is.
I like it. So while we were away, something happened on Netflix. It's called The Defenders. And unfortunately,
Don't get defensive about that.
no, it can't. And because we were pretty much off the grid, we really didn't have much. We couldn't watch it.
We couldn't watch it, and we kind of stayed away from any spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. So we finally had a chance to watch it. Luckily, it was only 8 episodes long, so we were able to mainline that
Yeah, we did
in
that this
3
week,
days'
so,
time.
yeah. So it's kind of nice to be able to see it and catch up to where everybody else was. And,
Yeah, without much delay.
And we're not going to give any spoilers, but
Well, I think everybody's already seen it by now. But yeah, we're not going to go into spoiler territory. We just want to give some quick thoughts
just
on that.
quick thoughts.
And of course, this does pick up right where Iron Fist pretty much leaves off,
Right.
for the most part.
And I saw a post about what was it, the Three Musketeers or the Four?
Four Musketeers.
Four
Yeah,
Musketeers, and
the one that it says about Danny Rand, he is D'Artagnan. It's all about him.
inexplicably
all about
all
him.
about him. He's just the worst ever, and it's like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So,
And we did talk about. We're not going to get very spoilery here, but we did talk about some of the things that problems that we had with Danny.
yeah, it just, I mean,
I
the writing.
The
of
writing
him,
is not very good on him.
I will say that in Defenders, his acting and martial arts.
The
was
fighting was a
much-
lot better.
The fighting was a lot better. There was still some cheesy stuff.
A
but-
little bit, but there was one scene where I kept thinking that's exactly the Danny Rand we were supposed to be
That's
getting.
what we should have gotten. But their writing of him, and I understand his whole story, but with Finn Jones acting
It's
and
not
the
all
way
that
they
good.
wrote it, he was a child.
Oh,
I mean, it was just
it
just drove me nuts.
to quote Thanos from the first Avengers movie. I mean, he was that of a pouty child,
Yep.
and he was really disturbing. But he did get a little bit better
Yeah.
as the series went on. But this wasn't really all about him. It was about all.
It was
four
about
of
all
them.
four of them. And one of the interesting things that we noticed was the cinematography for
Oh.
each different character was their color palette, their cinematography. I mean, it's the look and feel of their series when they were as individuals.
Right.
And then there was a completely different color palette for all of them together.
Yeah, the one for all together, it was like no color. It was like almost Technicolor, almost.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, the yellow for Luke, the purple for Jessica, the red for Matt. It was all fantastic, and we saw wonderful character developments.
Yep.
In these, I don't know what people were expecting. I did read this morning some people that were saying how much they didn't like it. They found it boring. I don't know what they were wanting. Were they wanting more of the actiony kind of stuff? And there was plenty of that, but this was really about the four individuals trying to come together on a common ground.
Right.
But what was really fascinating is we finally got the full backstory on the Hand.
Right. Which was fascinating.
And so we met some new people. We saw some old people. We saw some very, 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 very old people. And even though she's a bad person, how can you not love Madame Gao?
Yeah, I love her. I love to hate her character.
I do. She's fantastic, and a lot of that is attributed to the actress. She's really amazing in
Yeah,
it.
she is.
But she really plays the character with such wonderful charm.
Yep.
She can be perfectly evil and do it with a smile.
Yep.
And not an evil smile, but just this. It's a grandmotherly kind of character. I adored her.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I think this was a good way to end this particular phase 1
Right.
of the Netflix Marvel heroes. It will be interesting to see where they go. They've already laid the groundwork for what's going to happen in Daredevil season 3.
Yeah, and they did some wrap ups, but then they also left some.
Well, there's
few
a
cliffhangers.
few little loose threads here and there.
Yeah. So
Loose edges.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
Right.
Without saying anything more.
I enjoyed it. I would recommend,
I enjoyed it too. Yeah.
If you generally like the majority of the Marvel Netflix heroes, check out Defenders if you haven't. You will not be sorry.
Yep. And as always, we have our follow-up items. Check out our calendar on the website. We got birthdays and film festivals and whatnot. Send us a note if you have something that you would like for us to put on the calendar. We'd be glad to do that. Come see us and say hi. We're going to be at the following events. Horrible Imaginings Film Festival in San Diego. We'll be there probably Friday, September the 8th,
Yeah, 'cause
hopefully by the start.
We
may
should
be a
be.
little bit late, but
What time does it start on Friday?
it starts at 4.
Ooh,
So
we're going to be pushing.
We're really going to be pushing it. But we'll definitely be there Saturday, September 9th. Probably not on Sunday anytime, as we have to drive back and then...
And be at work the next day.
Yep. So we'll be at Horrible Imaginings. If you're there, stop by, say hi. We'll be glad to see you. We're going to have some more of our wristbands that we gave out at Comic-Con. So everybody will get one that wants one.
Right.
At OperaCon by Arizona Opera on October 21st. And then at Phoenix Comic-Con Fan Fest sometime on November 11th and 12th. As you know, we're huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, etc. There is a lot of talent out there.
Tons.
A tremendous amount of talent that doesn't get the big money and the fame and fortune, but it is there nonetheless. So a lot of them do crowdfunding to support their endeavors. And if you see somebody doing a crowdfunding campaign and there's independent creator of some kind, please consider contributing to that crowdfunding campaign. Usually, most of them have as little as $1, and you could get, a thanks or whatever. But do support them, and thanks for supporting independent creators.
Right.
Phoenix Comic-Con Fan Fest is on November 11th and 12th. They've just released a couple of guests that they're doing.
Right on, the big one is Ernie Hudson of Ghostbusters.
Yep, and some, what is it, Steven Universe? Several of the characters
Yeah, a
from
couple
Steven
characters
Universe.
from Steven Universe.
And a cosplayer, I can't remember the name.
I can't remember either.
I can't pull it up quick enough to put it in here. But more information to come. They've got tables open for just about anybody. You go to the I think it's myfanfest.com, and you can possibly be an exhibitor at Phoenix Fan Fest. OperaCon by Arizona Opera, October 21st. It's several special events planned prior to the performance of Hercules versus the Vampires. Stay tuned. We're going to have a little bit more, and you can check out Arizona Opera at azopera.org.
We're also going to be doing an appearance here in Phoenix. It's the Podcasted Yourself.
Oh, yeah, podcast. Oh, shoot. I forgot to get that information. We'll have to put that in
We'll
the
put
next.
that into the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes. But
Podcast It Yourself is October 28th, I believe.
I believe that sounds about right.
It's a Saturday. And that is actually in support October 28th. And it is sort of in support of the new edition of Podcasting for Dummies. It was written by our friend Chuck Tomasi and T. Morris. And they will have copies of the book there available to sign and purchase, or purchase and sign.
There's going to be a number of panels.
We're doing a number of panels on best practices, mics or microphones, hardware, software, etc. It's a 3 or 4 hour event, and it's cheap. So
yeah, it's not
check
very
it
expensive.
out. Podcast it yourself. We'll have the information in the show notes.
But we are going to be there. You're going to be presenting at a panel. I'm going to be moderating. So we will be putting an appearance there. So if you're going to be in the Phoenix area and you want to check out, you want to see us and you want to check out what it is to be a podcaster, come to that panel.
Exactly.
And again, we'll have the notes for that in the show notes for this episode.
Yep.
Special thanks to Doctor Who Talking Who on Twitter. They publish the Doctor Who Fancast Guide that regularly republishes our own stories and reviews. You can find the Fancast Guide by looking them up on Twitter. They are at Talking Hugh. Talking Hugh?
Talking Hugh.
Hugh, yes. Talking Hugh, Hugh. No, Talking Who. Also, we talked about Human Arkle, good friend Brian Weber. He publishes the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News that also republishes our stories. You can find the Post-Dispatch News by going to Twitter and looking for @Ankle. Yes, I said that.
Yes.
Arkle, A-R-K-L-E. And he also has the incorrect Star Trek Voyager quotes that he mentioned in the feedback. You can find that on Tumblr. We will have the link for that also in our show notes.
Yep. And I want to give a shout out to the Lookie Show. The twins, they are a lot of fun. Check them out on Twitter. They give us a lot of love there at Lookie Show, but their main place is on YouTube. Look for Lookie Show. They do reviews of older movies, not just older movies, but mostly older movies in a very unique way. So,
and they're looking to diversify in new areas. So they are very entertaining. So check them out.
Check them out.
Special shout out to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek. Not only because they allow us to share our content there, but because it's just simply a really awesome page. I know I say that every time, but I say it because it is true. It is an awesome group page. It's true. They have really great contributors there, which is, basically anybody who subscribes. And you can find it by going to facebook.com/groups/thegaygeek. And as always, our most heartfelt thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves, for granting us permission to share our episodes there.
Yes, thanks, Jeremiah. We want to remind you to occasionally click on our Amazon ads. You can find them at the end of each article or of each episode. We've also got some widgets on the right-hand side of the page for various things that we support. So click on them. It doesn't cost anything. If you choose to buy something from Amazon, use one of our search ads. We get a little bit of a kickback, and thanks for your consideration. And lastly, check us out on iHeartRadio, and please rate us and review us on iTunes, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Up next time,
Probably some
wrap up
of Horrible Imaginings, I would think, and
pretty
maybe a
much.
few interviews that we might get while we're down there.
Yeah, you never know. So check out next week. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out our article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers, eh?